Good Sunday evening, high school sports fans. Joe Gilloway with Lingelstown Gazette Sports, and we are live from the Orchard Street studio. I am live from the Orchard Street studio. My panelists are live from their own areas, and this is our high school hoops weekly recap show. I'll be joined momentarily by our panel of experts, along with our special opening guest as soon as we're done thanking those responsible for bringing you tonight's show, and they are our Lingelstown Gazette Sports platinum sponsors. And there they are: Capital Region Insurance Agency, Payor Apparel, Team PA, AAU Basketball, Ted's Bar and Grill, The Tire Mart, American Legion Post 272, Crystal Bob at Iron Valley Real Estate, Hoffman Ford, Tonino's Pizza, and Sam Hartley Decking. Thank you once again to these great local businesses for their continued support of Lingelstown Gazette Sports and our area's student athletes. Upcoming, we really have some great coaches here. I'm going to show you, and this includes tonight's guest coach. That's John Allen from Coatesville. He's in the lower left. And let's go clockwise from Coach Allen. We have Kerry Glover from York High, Jason Fisher from Devon Prep, and then bottom right is Rick Perez. So, man, lots of wins, lots of championships, and just some great guys there. And we're so excited to have these guys joining us in the upcoming weeks. Photos, a lot of the photos we use, we do borrow from Penn Live. So we like to thank them every show we do, and just mention that some of our photos are compliments of Penn Live. Thanks to their photographers for the great job they do. And let's, we kind of, that's the wrong one. We kind of made this a weekly thing. Prostate cancer awareness. About 5 or 6 weeks ago, I had prostate cancer. I had my prostate removed. And I say it every week. This is not about me. This is about you, the viewers, friends and loved ones of the viewers. Please, if you're a man around 45 or 50 and you have not had your prostate checked, it's a very simple process. You go get what's called a PSA test, and it is a blood test. And that's how things get started in terms of just checking and making sure that you don't have prostate cancer. And if you do, it's not a very it's not a difficult process of keeping an eye on it. And there are treatments that are very successful, I guess is the way I'm going to put it. 1 in 7 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. And no later than 50 should you be getting checked for the first time. If you have a high risk or a very high risk, if you have prostate cancer in your family, if you're African Americans are almost twice as likely to develop prostate cancer and almost 2.5 times more likely to die of prostate cancer. It is recommended that African Americans are initially tested between 5 to 10 years prior to when white men of the same age are initially tested. So thank you for sitting through that, everybody. And please, please, please get your prostate checked if you haven't before. Okay. So let's bring in our opening guest here, John Allen from Coatesville. I just want to mention that Dave Berman, we only have X amount of weeks. This show only lasts for, I guess, 3 months, 4 months. So we have to be selective with who we bring on, and we'd like to have way more coaches on than we do. But Dave's like, you got to have Coach Allen on. His team's doing great. He's a great guy. And what did I say, Dave? Right away, yes, let's do it. Let's get a hold of him. So here he is, and we're gonna Coach John Allen. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, man. We're really excited to have you. And I guess full disclosure, you're sitting at an airport, right?
Yes, absolutely. Sitting in the airport, flight delayed, trying to leave the sun and get back to the snow.
Yeah, it's kind
doesn't make a lot of sense, but we're trying.
We are experiencing right now a typical Northeast type of winter day up here. So just so you know, that's what you're going to be. It's okay though. It's just cold weather and snow.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're in your 4th year as head coach of Coatesville, and they call that full circle. You graduated from Coatesville. Storied career. You and I were talking about some of the better players earlier in the day, maybe this morning. Some of the better players, high school players in Pennsylvania high school basketball history, and we kind of left out John Allen out of that. And I say that because if you look at what you did, you scored almost 2,400 career points. That in itself, that's just a boatload of points. But you also led a team, and I'm sure you're going to give a lot of credit to your teammates, and you should. But you led a team to a PIAA state championship. You were all state and all American as a senior at Coatesville, and that's just incredible. Not many people are able to say that. And you passed Rip Hamilton, who is an NBA champion
Yep.
with Detroit as the Coatesville all-time leading scorer. So and then you scored almost 1,500 points at Seton Hall. So
Yeah.
I want to let people know who we have on here tonight. And I didn't know all that. I knew who you were, but I didn't know all that. When you called me this morning, that's what I was doing. I was digging in so I guess we'll ask you this first. This isn't your first head coaching job, right? At high school?
This is on a high school
Oh,
level.
this is your first?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Right. No, I finished playing. I played 7 years overseas. Finished in 2012. Then I went ahead. I was an assistant coach under Rick Nelms at Coatesville for 1 year.
All right.
Once that happened, I left. I went to Phoenixville, became assistant athletic director, and then an athletic director at Collegiate Charter School.
Okay, that's what Dave was mentioning earlier to me, and I thought that maybe you coached there as a head coach.
Nope, this is my first job.
Okay, so this team, they're 12-4, very difficult schedule. You don't mess around with your schedule, right?
No, we try not to.
Wow.
I've learned that from John Cheney.
Whew. Man, is it a tough schedule. 7-0 though in the Chesmont National Division. So you're kind of in pretty good shape there. We're going to go a game at a time though. I don't want to get ahead of things. So talk a little bit about, this is your fourth team at Coatesville. What makes this team different? What's this team's DNA, or what's their calling card?
Oh, yeah. So we were talking about that last night, and Dave can attest to this. My first 3 years, we had really good guards. We played fast. We were really fast. Pressure defense. High energy. I was high energy, and that's how we won games. Sorry about this.
That's okay. That's all right.
Very high energy. And now we go, we have 6'8", 6'7", 6'6", 6'5". So we slow it down a little bit. We try to play a little bit more in the half court, and that's probably the biggest difference. And obviously we have a guy. Before it was scoring by committee, but we kind of have a guy that we can throw it to, and he can close the game out for us.
Yeah, talk about sophomore Colton Hiller.
Yep.
I got a chance to watch him play a couple games last year. I watched your win at Geigel Complex, Reading against Cumberland Valley, and then your loss the next weeks. But when you walk away, and he was a freshman. When you have some kind of understanding of high school basketball, when you walk away from watching him, you're getting in your car, you're going, "Wow, that kid was special." And that's what I was saying last year, driving away, like, what did I just see?
Yep. I believe the same thing. I mean, I think he's the best player in the country in his class. We make no secret about it. We go to him. We try to play through him. And he's put the work in to get to the level that he's at now. So for us, it's a blessing to have a player like that. But, we also have Larry, who did a good job last night, and has been doing a really good job on the season for us, averaging a double-double. And we have more than just Colton, but obviously I think Colton is the best player in the state and the best player in his class in the country.
Yeah, I mean, he's got definite forward size, or even kind of center-ish size for it's hard to cover him, even if you're a center in high school. But he's got guard skills too, for sure.
Absolutely. And his shooting ability is off the chart.
Absolutely. John, you want us to jump in here, bud?
Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I got a two-part question. First, who nicknamed you Tootie? How'd you get that nickname?
That's my mom. That's like from when I was a baby. And she'll tell a few different stories, but it definitely comes from my mom, and I had that name before I can walk. I can remember anything.
Okay.
So that's from my mom.
Okay, cool. And then you did win a state championship as a high school player in 2001.
Yep.
How do you get this current team that you have now back into that state championship game?
Well, I always think that winning the state championship is not about having the most talented team, but it's about the team that can come together, bond with each other. And that's part of the reason that we're here in Florida, to bond with each other. I think that's the most important. Once you get down to the Elite Eight, you know, whatever. Once you get to the state playoffs, everyone is talented. Everyone
Right.
deserves to be there. And then you start getting into the Elite Eight, the Final Four. Everybody is super talented. Everybody has Division I player or somebody on the verge of Division I. You know, we've all scouted each other. We all trying to get film last minute. You know, but it's about a team that can go through adversity and fight through adversity when you're down 8 and everything is against you and the team is holding the ball. How do you come back? How do you fight through it? Is your bench into it in the third quarter when you're on the road? Like, these are the things that win you state championships. You know, there's talented teams all throughout the state, but the teams that are that have the most cohesion and are together when it counts are the teams that are winners.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning you were knocked out last year by state runner-up Roman Catholic.
Yep.
And
yep.
you played with them for the whole game pretty much, you know.
Yeah.
I thought you guys, you know, in 10 games, I don't know how many you'd win, but you'd win some, you know, against them last year. I just thought you were that good that somebody had to win, and that was a super, super talented Roman team. But, you know, I know that was last year, but talk about the mentality going into a game like that when, I mean, that team was loaded with stars, and you can't stop everybody, right?
Well, I think that being in those games and being in different games, you have to first believe that you can win these games, right? You can't go into looking at their talent or looking at what their newspaper clippings or whatever it is. Now it's internet, right? You can't go in there and look at you got to understand that you're on the same stage as they are. And once you understand that and you know that, then you go in and you play as hard as you can. And, you know, they shoot the basketball just like us. They dribble just like us. And we went into that game with that mentality. And now it's carried over to this year where nothing really phases us. We go everywhere, we play anywhere, and we're able to compete anywhere we go.
I love that. That's got me excited just hearing that. And I mean that, man. I could just tell that your team's, you know, they're going into battle beside you, with you, you know.
Absolutely.
And with a coach with that attitude, man, that's got to rub off. Dave, why don't you jump in here? I know you have a relationship with Coach Allen. You said you were going to kind of sit on the sidelines, but help us out.
Yeah, PA announcer for a bunch of their games over the years, and you know, hopefully get back there, you know, playoff time, District 1 tournament. But you have 2 wins over the Catholic League, Philadelphia Catholic League this year, against a very young but very good St. Joe's Prep team featuring Aaron McKee's twins, and then the win against Father Judge, who just beat Roman the other night at the buzzer. So here we go. It's up for grabs, man. Anything can happen.
Yeah, we feel that way. We really do. And talking to Jimmy D over at PW, he feels the same way. You know, it's up in the air. We lost to PW, but, you know, we feel like we can get them at some point. You know, and I'm sure he feels the same with some of his losses, right? Some of those losses shouldn't have been losses. They could be wins if he played it right or someone else played, you know. So we feel like we're one of the top teams in the state. Whenever we play another top team in the state, the game can go either way, coach's decision, player's decision, but we feel like we're right there at the top. And that's where you want to be right now, and that's where you want to be in March, right at the top. And we feel like we're right there.
Got another game coming up. Mark Taylor is now at St. Joe's, New Jersey, Metuchen. You know Mark.
Yep.
And you got them. Is that game at Coatesville High School?
No, that game is actually my old AAU coach, Jerome Smart, passed away, and there's a showcase in honor of him. So we're going up there, and they're probably the most talented team we'll play this year. They're playing Westtown today at the Hoops for Harmony, and we play them next Saturday. But they got a 6'7" point guard. They have a 6'8" wing, 6'5" wing, 6'10" big guy from Ghana. So they're loaded and probably they're undefeated right now and probably the most talented team we'll play this year.
And real quick, you took Christ the King to the battle. Christ the King.
Yep.
That was a hell of a game.
Yep. We really felt like we should have won that game. It really came down to one rebound. We couldn't secure a rebound with less than 5 seconds. They get the rebound, they get fouled down 2, and their guy makes 2 foul shots, sends it into overtime. and they made some tough shots in overtime and ended up beating us by 3. We had 2 3-pointers go in and out inside a minute. And we really feel like that's one that we should have won, and one that we felt like got away from us. So we Christ the King game really hurt.
Coach, you obviously have an affinity for Coatesville High School. You went there, you played there, you're coaching there again. I was there one time. I was there to watch the Central Dolphins versus Downingtown West and Will Howard state semifinal football game a few years. I was just blown away by that's a campus, man. It looks like a small college.
Yeah.
You have grounds. There's grounds. Like the schools up here. I live in like Harrisburg. We just have a school sitting on a property. But I like the fact. To me, it looks like there's a good, nice level of diversity at the school, which I like a lot. Talk a little bit about Coatesville and why is it near and dear to your heart?
Well, we breed champions, right? The campus, we breed champions in everything, in every walk of life, whether we're talking about academically, robotics. One of our women's soccer players, 16-year-old national team, Colton is 16-year-old national team. Whatever it is, debate team, whatever it is, that campus, that little campus, breeds winners, and we're a community. I know a lot of that is missing now in high school sports. Is like the community, people coming out, and every time someone comes to Coatesville to watch a game, the first thing every coach, the first thing they say is, "Man, I miss this. Man, all kids need to experience this." Right? You get to these big prep schools and you're playing in front of 25 people or 30 people, right? And everything is high pressure. It's like, what about the fans and people coming out and people that watch you grow up and people that watch you develop, coming out to see you play against somebody you've been playing against, maybe from Reading, right? Maybe from York, that you've been playing against for 10 years. And now it's your time, right? You guys are seniors or juniors. Like, these communities come together and we compete and we talk trash to each other and we was bragging rights yearly. And this was what high school sports is about. This is what high school sports is about. It's become something different, but really this is the essence of high school sports.
Absolutely. John, got another question?
Yeah. Coach, I read that you're also a PIAA official. You did that for years, right?
Yeah.
So how does that help? Or you? I mean, are you sort of like identifying with the current PIAA officials when you're playing a game, and you have some compassion for them and stuff? Or does it help or hurt your team in regards to your coaching?
No compassion, none. No compassion. but I do realize it's a very difficult situation. It's a very difficult job, and you got to make these split decision calls, and even the pros can't get it right. They got instant replay. So sometimes I try to let things go. Right. It's hard to let things go, but I try to let things go and try to have the ref, try to understand where the referees are coming to, where they're coming from. But a lot of conversation from me, a lot of conversation. I give those guys a lot of conversation because I do know what I'm talking about.
Sure you do.
Do you have any relationships with those officials? Like, are you familiar with a lot of them from reffing with them?
Oh yeah. I know a lot of them.
Okay.
And that's why I have a lot of dialogue, a lot of conversation with them. I know a lot of them from either coaching or officiating with them. Some of them we started together, and now they're veterans.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Dave, you have anything else for Coach? I have one more question, but I'll cede to you if you have anything.
John, great hearing from him. Great these guys can get caught up with you. I'll never forget the opening round of the state tournament 2001 on your way to win. You had to run into those Kirk Smallwood and Harrisburg.
Harrisburg, that's right. Andre Henry. I forget the big guy's name. Yeah, I remember those guys.
Yeah, the hell of a year. Oh yeah, real quick. You're a guy. Great coaches you had throughout your career. Legends, late great Ross Kershey, and of course Skoogie Smith.
Yep. Not only that, I never played for Coach Kershey, but obviously he was around the program, and some of the stuff kind of rubbed off. But Skug was under Kershey, but Skug was a legend in his own right. And I went to college and got a chance to play for Coach Lewis Orr. So I've played for some legends, man. I've played for some legends, and I've been blessed to kind of play for those guys, Skug and Coach Orr, and now I'm kind of doing this for them.
Okie dokie. Coach John Tootie Allen, Coatesville High, fourth-year head coach. His guys are off to a great start. They're sitting in the airport waiting to come back from, I guess is it a showcase down there? Is that what they call it?
Yeah. Wally Keller Classic, 20 years of the Wally Keller Classic. So we were honored to be a part of it.
We wish you well, and John and I, we will do our best to get down and watch you guys play between now and the end of the season, Coach.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Tell your guys we wish them well.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Good luck, Coach.
Have a great
awesome
evening.
show, and
thank you.
Awesome show, and thanks for having me.
We really appreciate it. Have a great day. All right, guys. Woo, man, another great guest. Dave, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, I think Coach Allen is being sort of humble there. Like, you were trying to, throw out his accolades throughout his high school and college career and professional career.
The guy's got a resume. Come on, man.
Yeah, and I think the whole point of what he's talking about, he that's all in the past, and he's done some good things. But he's the head coach of Coatesville now, and he has goals for him and his team, and he wants to spotlight his team, I'm sure, and make a run this year. They have the talent. They have the talent to do it. So
they call that grounded. He's grounded.
Right.
He's probably just concerned with what's directly in front of him.
And Dave, you probably saw him play high school ball, right?
Even though I was on the radio down in Virginia, drove up District 1 championship his junior year against Chester. And that was at the Villanova packed house. And Coatesville beat Chester in that game. John was a junior, Jameer a senior. They met again in the good old days, public versus public. They met again in the state semifinals, and Chester got the best of it, and Chester went on to beat Uniontown in the state finals. And then the next year, Chester lost 4 starters from that team, and then 2021 came back, played Coatesville 3 times, John's senior year, lost 3 times, including the state semi again. Can you believe that? And then Coatesville beat Shenley in the state final, their only PIAA boys basketball state title. The girls won it all for Coatesville in 1994.
That reminds me, Dave, up here, Harrisburg beat Carlisle 3 times that one year that Carlisle ended up winning the state championship.
86. That's insane.
That's incredible, man. So anyway, let's get into this. I just have a handful of games, kind of, I guess, games of impact or games I thought were worth mentioning here that happened throughout the week, local games. And let's start with Central Dauphin 75, Central Dauphin East 55. CD has now won 11-12. That was kind of a game, I think, John, that, East came into it with a little bit of momentum. They're obviously, more talented than they have been in the last handful of years. And I don't think it was, you were there. Okay. Yeah. Let me not speculate.
I was there, Joe. I mean, the game started out very competitive, close game for, the first quarter and a half or so, and then it started to get away for East. But, I mean, both very athletic, talented teams. CD just has a few more, talent, a little bit more talent, That's what it comes down to. That they have a new addition. That was his first game.
Jared
D'Olimpio. Jared D'Olimpio. And he looked hesitant, but it's a first game with a new team, and I'm sure he didn't want to, ball hog, quote unquote. But
that's a tough situation, for a kid to be in, I think.
But once he started playing, he was balling. You could tell he's a baller, and I'm sure he's gonna open it up even more. I think he finished with like 12 points, bunch of assists. Steals, so I mean, great game for him to start out with a new team, and they got really good starters, and the coach subs in a lot. I'm not really sure, the subbing pattern that he has, but but the starters are solid. You know, East is solid. They're very talented. I think they just had too many turnovers. You know, turnovers kill you.
I saw him play last week, East High, against York. They hosted York, I guess, a week ago, last Saturday maybe, and it ended up York opened up the game at the end. I think they won by 18, but East went toe to toe for the better part of the game, and
Right.
and York's very good. So my what I'm saying is that East can play with some teams for sure. So Chambersburg 75, Harrisburg 74. Harrisburg's kind of I don't know if Harrisburg had any injuries that night. I know that they had Lewis was out, and another starter or another guy that's in the rotation was out for a game or two. Harrisburg's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team, I think. John and I went and watched them Friday night. Was it? Yeah, Friday night beat State College by 23. You almost nailed the score, by the way. Remember I said I think Harrisburg might get to 80?
Yeah.
You said like 72-51 or,
Yeah.
it was 71-48. So you were close.
How did State College get beat that bad by Harrisburg?
Dave, they didn't look great, man.
State College did not look good at all.
No, they missed. Go ahead, John. You were there.
Yeah, I think I was trying to keep track in my head of missed 3-pointers. They might have been like 1 for 12 in the first half, and then they were like 2 for 16 through 3 quarters, something like that.
Yeah, that's is there a game? So they don't have how much? Do they have much size?
They don't have athleticism or size.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, and to Harrisburg's credit, they forced a lot of turnovers. Again, turnovers kill you.
Yeah.
And
The first time they played Harrisburg, State College beat them by 20.
Right.
That was before Harrisburg kind of got tuned up, I think.
Yeah. Well,
I like how you said that they're Jekyll and Hyde Harrisburg, because sometimes they seem like, I mean, they obviously they're talented. They beat Central Dauphin. They beat State College handily, and they're right now they're on the power rank because they're sort of on the cusp of the edge of
like 13 maybe
15 and 16 go. So I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But
yes, we will.
Well, State College, Mifflin County District 6A championship is going to be pretty hell of a game. That's already set.
Okay. Yeah, I would go with State College on that one.
Yeah, I would too. But we'll talk about that. Yeah. We'll as things get closer. Milton Hershey 59, Hershey 57. That's a throw out the records game. Obviously, it's a rivalry game. A really good win, a home win for Milton Hershey. And last year they played at least one really competitive game. I watched that game online last year, and this one looked like it was just as kind of frenetic down the stretch where either team could have close the other one out. And Milton Hershey, to their credit, they may not be quite as good of a team as Hershey, but they got it done. Central York 65, York 64. I watched that whole game, and man, Central York, they got up, double digits in the second half, and I thought, oh man, I don't even know. I was going to turn it off and watch something else, and I hung in there, and York, and that was with Brooklyn Nace, who's now gone. That Central York had their full complement of players. So York could make some noise, guys, for sure. Northern York, they had a really big win over Greencastle. And then the next day, it was, I guess, Friday. And then on Saturday, yesterday, they lost to Mechanicsburg, who's like an under 500 team. So I did speak with Coach Ty Savercool, and it's not uncommon. He said that his guys might have had a little bit of a hangover from the win, and it's, you got to, when you're playing the next day like that and you're coming off of a big emotional win, you kind of have to come back down. You know what I mean? Or if you get your butts kicked, you got to come back up and say, we're not as bad as we were yesterday or last night. So anyway, but it was nice to see. Mechanicsburg is not a league game. So we're going to get into the divisions here, and Coach Savercool and his Northern York team got one step closer in the Colonial Division. Springford, how about this one, Dave?
Springford's good. Big win over Reading.
56-48 over Reading. Held the Red Knights to 48 points. Springford's 14-4. That's just a great sports school, right? I mean,
great coach Joe Dempsey, been there, done that. Lost to Reading pretty big in the state semifinals 2023. 3 years ago already. Yeah, keep an eye on them. District 1's up for I think the whole state this year, and you can see with the Philadelphia Catholic League, all the wins and losses, and everybody. I think anybody can win it this year. It's like the NFL Super Bowl.
Yeah. So here's the last one I have written down. York William Penn. I just talked about them. 64-51 over Hazleton yesterday.
Big win.
And Hazleton's good, man. They're good. They play a lot of really tough teams. What did Harrisburg beat them by a couple points, Hazleton, Dave?
Yeah.
I know it was close.
That was they kind of got Harrisburg going. That's
when Harrisburg started playing well. Yeah. So anyway, nice win and let's shout out our friend Coach Steve Little. I covered his daughter, Tiara, when she played for Central Dauphin East, and he's a friend of mine, and he's an assistant coach and a principal at York William Penn. And he's back on the bench helping Kerry Glover, and they're exciting. They're not Nazir Barnes. If you haven't heard of him, viewers, go out and watch that kid play. He's a junior, and man, is he ever a great guard. He can play the one, the point, and the two guard. And so anyway, so that's
that Hazleton win was for Harrisburg, was their first win of the season for Harrisburg,
right.
And they were down a bunch and came back to win by 1. So
Dave, you were right. That kind of was their springboard, Harrisburg, to get them going. Okay, so let's do our draw a line under the bottom team that we think has a chance still. And I'm still going to go with Central Dauphin, Chambersburg, and Cumberland Valley all having a shot. I mean, Chambersburg just has a coach with enough experience in big games. I mean, it's kind of I'm going to tell you who these teams have. CD has York tonight and then Central York tomorrow. That's a tough, 2 games. But then they have at Chambersburg and versus Cumberland Valley does Central Dauphin. So we're going to find out a lot, guys, this week.
Yeah, those games will decide a lot for the Commonwealth.
We are going to find out a lot this week. Chambersburg is hosting Central Dauphin, then at Altoona, and then Cumberland Valley. They host Harrisburg, then they're at Central Dauphin, and then they host Middletown. I think they play Middletown on Saturday. That's obviously a non-league game. So there's a lot going on there with Central Dauphin, Chambersburg, and Cumberland Valley. And we don't need to get into it too much. We talk about these teams, kind of on a regular basis. But let's I tend to overuse this term, but the rubber is meeting the road this week, guys, in the Mid-Penn Commonwealth Division for sure. So there's what happened with Milton Hershey beating Hershey. Hershey was undefeated in the division and overall, and so we have 3 teams that are vying for this Keystone division, and we'll talk about Hershey has they're hosting Lebanon tomorrow, and then they are at Mifflin County and hosting Redland, which is a rival, which is a game that they could get. I want to say this with respect to Hershey. They were down against Mifflin County the first time, right, Dave?
Yeah, like 15-3.
Yeah, I mean that's early, but and then Redland, they can put together a game. So Coach Paul Blackburn, he knows how to have his team ready for this. We're in the stretch run now, guys. I would say Milton Hershey is at Redland hosting Lower Dauphin, and then they play at Susquehanna Township, a non-league game. And then Cedar Cliff at Mechanicsburg at Mifflin County. So
can you believe Mifflin County is 6-8, and you think the non-league schedule they need to pick it up a little bit?
Well, I think that they struggle to close games out, Dave.
Right, they're so close,
and that may have something to do with not playing good non-league games. Yes, the answer to that is yes.
This group has been together since 4th grade. They were predicted what, 2nd or 3rd preseason?
I think 3rd.
Third,
and they're currently 7th out of 8. The only Lower Dauphin.
Well, their goal now, is just to they have 8 games left. Try to
win. Winning's always fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And then it's going to be them in State College in the District 6-6A title.
Yes. Yep.
And you guys have seen both teams, and they're both pretty much, to me, look even. And the last couple of years they met in the District 6-8 championship. There were close games. State College pulled them out. So you guys are more of the, What do you think? You've seen both teams play. I know it's a big thing. It's a District 6 championship.
I think right now, and I've watched Milton Hershey, or I've watched Mifflin County and State College play. Probably Mifflin County 3 or 4 games because they give you access. You can watch their games.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I've watched State College 3 times. So State College 15 probably points better. I think at this point.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll see.
I mean, State College plays out of the Commonwealth, Dave. They play some of the best teams in the Mid-Penn. So,
But
I mean,
the last couple of years has not mattered though, because
Right.
well, I think State College won the games, but it was like 5-10 point game. All right, okay, I'm just kind of stretching.
it might be that again. It might be a 10 point game again, but I think State College will pull it off.
I'm just hoping. I was up there 13 years on the radio. They haven't had a District 6 champion in Mifflin County since Old Indian Valley, 2007.
All right.
Yeah, you only got to beat 2 teams, right, in that district.
Yeah.
Altoona, State College, and Mifflin County. That's
well, Altoona won't be in the championship because they're under 500. They have to have
right.
500.
Well, one of them is a state champion, a district champion every year.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. Exactly.
You got a 33% chance. But going back real quick to the Milton Hershey game. So that win for Milton Hershey kept them alive in the division race, obviously.
Yeah, right.
Now they're going to meet again, not this week, but next week on the 27th. So that could decide the Keystone champion right there.
Yeah, and that's at Hershey. And that should be good. I have that circled on my calendar to go to.
January 27th.
Yeah, I'd like to go there. So, maybe we can go down there together and watch that game. So let's jump into the Capital Division. This is a two-horse showdown here. McDevitt 9-0, Trinity 8-1, only lost to McDevitt. They have a total of 1 loss between the 2 teams overall. And let's see here. McDevitt, they host Trinity, and so that game's coming up here, I think Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Wednesday at Bishop McDevitt.
And then McDevitt's at Boiling Springs. Trinity had a game scheduled today against Savern School from Maryland. I don't know if they played that or not. But then they're at McDevitt Wednesday, and then they host James Buchanan. So back to the rubber meeting the road there. McDevitt wins, and it's pretty much there.
McDevitt hasn't played since looks like Thursday. So they've had off since Thursday until this Wednesday.
Their power rankings a good bit higher than Trinity's too. We'll get into that here in a moment, but so that's good. That's what local basketball is supposed to be all about, is having rivalries like that, play one another in big games late in the season. So that's fun. That's cool. Greencastle, we have been saying, even when Greencastle was undefeated and Northern York's had 2 losses here for a while, every week I've said I don't want to count Northern York out. I'm glad I didn't. I don't like to have to go back and apologize, John and Dave. So,
right.
So now Northern York's right there at the doorstep after a big win Friday night against Greencastle. And I'm going to keep East Pennsboro in there just out of respect because, if they win some games here, Greencastle has hosted Waynesboro and then at West Perry. That doesn't seem like 2 very difficult games. Northern York's at Shippensburg, hosting Gettysburg. And then East Pennsboro is versus West Perry and at Middletown. So nobody's playing. None of the top 3 are playing each other.
You did mention McDevitt yesterday winning over Benedictine.
I did not mention that. No.
Yeah, they beat Benedictine out of Richmond, Virginia, 67-49. Benedictine.
That's not on the schedule. It's probably is that an out-of-state game or non-PIAA game?
It should be on the schedule. It should be on there.
No, I'm looking at the PIAA schedule. That's why
they need to correct that. Anyway, so McDevitt wins at 67-49, and Ethan Hammer, a kid named Kenyon Portee.
He's a transfer from Trinity.
22 points.
I think he's a freshman. He was going to go to Trinity, my understanding, and they got him to
Ethan Hammer 15 and Dom Baker Fab freshman with 12. So, and Benedictine is only 7-10, but they play in a very strong Catholic league down there in Virginia.
Yeah, so that's a good win for
Yes.
for sure. Let me see here. I want to make sure. No, Kenyon Porty. Baker's the freshman. Porty's a junior.
Yeah.
I stand corrected there. Yeah. But McDevitt has a lot of talent. And I've been telling John, Dave, that I think McDevitt can go toe to toe with whoever wins the Commonwealth when it comes to the mid pens.
It'll be interesting. Probably them against Berks Catholic in the district 4A championship.
I would think so. So
yeah, that's what we were talking about when we had
Coach Rao on.
Yeah.
So we looked at this, I think, at the beginning of the season here. Just a reminder, folks, and this is for boys and girls, the Mid-Penn Championship Tournament. It's Colonial versus Commonwealth, Capital versus Keystone. We just talked about all the teams that have a chance. So we're not going to get back into that, but it rotates. So that's the way it would be now.
That's how it starts for the first game, and then obviously the winner goes to the championship game.
Correct. All right, so this is something we're not going to spend really any time on, but if I don't show this, I'll get inbox messages. Why don't you cover or talk about 1A? But these are mostly outside of, I think, Harrisburg Christian, maybe Harrisburg Academy if they're in there. These are not local teams.
Impressive guys. Your Country Day just beat my Chester Charter Sabres yesterday, 68-52, and Chester Charter's not bad, single A.
Okay, so here we go. Steel High, currently number 4. There's only 4 in here. So 1A incidentally takes 10. 4 in 2A. So Steel High's got they have not a big lead over Greenwood. And I'm going to mention this again. Steel High has a much tougher schedule. They play larger classification schools than Greenwood. So, Greenwood I don't know how good Greenwood is. They're 9-6. I don't know how good the teams that they play are, but they're going to be probably 1A and 2A schools for Greenwood, I'm guessing. And then Steel High's got to play those teams in the Capital Division. We're talking McDevitt, Trinity, Big Spring, Susquehanna Township. So,
Harrisburg.
Yeah, they do play Harrisburg, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe last game of the season?
Second to last.
Okay. So let's keep an eye on that every week. Steel High's got to win.
Steel High could have a losing record, which they do a lot, and still makes the district playoffs.
Yep, absolutely. So there's 3A. Trinity with a decent lead over Lancaster Men, and it doesn't really. You want that number 1 seed just for pride's sake, and you probably also want to play Pequay Valley in the first round. Just looking at their record, I'm not sure how good they are, but you want to try to avoid Lancaster Mennonite, I would think, until the final game, till the championship game.
Lancaster Mennonite came down here and beat Chester 50-48.
That's a great win for a 3A school. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah, they're tough.
Let's jump to 4A, and that's McDevitt again. Berks Catholic. Those two, look how far ahead they are in the rating than Susquehanna. And I mean, it's McDevitt, Berks Catholic, and then the rest. I can't imagine that anybody is going to have a chance there. And let's show this too. I forgot about. So in 4A, there's 8 teams. I didn't mention 3A. There's 6 teams that qualify. So let's go to 5A here. Hershey's still number 1. Lots of Mid-Penn schools are in 5A, and a lot of them are qualifying. Right now, they're either in or close to being in the top 16. So you have Hershey, Milton Hershey, Greencastle, Northern York, East Pennsboro, Redland, Palmyra. So that's a lot. That's a lot of 5A teams. And then the last one would be 6A, of course, and 16 teams qualify in 6A. Central York, number one for a good reason. You know, they're still undefeated. They play Central Dauphin tomorrow at 4 o'clock at Penn State Harrisburg in Middletown. And then Muhlenberg, who beat Central Dauphin earlier. And because of that win, they're second and Central Dauphin's third, you know.
Hey, give some love to Susquehanna, right? 13-2.
Pardon me?
Give some love to Susquehanna. They're in your, right in your backyard.
Yeah. I just kind of, they're just up against it.
Their problem is they play too many small single A, double A schools.
Yeah. So let's look at what's going on tomorrow. And where is that? MLK Classic. The first game is at noon, and that is not reflected on this this graphic on this flyer here. That's Susquehanna Township girls versus Lancaster McCaskey at 12 o'clock. And then Central Dauphin girls play McDevitt girls at 2. Central Dauphin boys play Central York boys at 4. I did not make this graphic, by the way. This came from somebody from Central Dauphin. That's why they didn't include Susquehanna Township on it. It was like a CD flyer. So,
Joe, are you sure Brooklyn Nace isn't going to be at that game? I thought somebody said he had 3 more games a couple days ago.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They played Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, that's what I heard too. Let's see. Well, Central York. Let's look at their schedule, and they played.
Their last game was just against York, right? Or did they play another game in between?
They played Spring Grove. Yeah, my understanding was that he would be on campus by like Sunday at Old Dominion.
I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
At Old Dominion. Yeah. So I guess that's about it, guys. We didn't have to drag this out too long tonight. We didn't do any what we call outside the lines or housekeeping. None of that kind of stuff cropped up. And Dave, go ahead. I have time. We have time.
Philadelphia Catholic League boys, can I just give you the
You could do whatever you want. No, I was just saying that's it with our area. If you want to do your District 1, District 12, and District 6 updates, go right ahead. Plenty of time.
Forget District 6. We talked about that already. Newman Goretti is 5-0. This is their league record at Philadelphia Catholic. Archbishop Wood is 5-1. Archbishop Carroll beat Bonner the other night. How do you like that? They're 4-2. Bonner's 4-2. Father Judge 4-2. Just beat Roman. Roman Catholic 3-2. Ryan's good 3-3. St. Joe's Prep is young and good 3-3. West Catholic, LaSalle, O'Hara, Lansdale Catholic. Devon Prep 1-5. We'll have Jason on next week. He'll up the Catholic League for us. And Conwell League at 0-6. That'll be a great guest next Sunday. That'll be cool.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. Let's just go in hypotheticals, just to give you an opportunity to kind of we'll test your. Well, I don't know if this is knowledge so much as your intuition as to how things are going to play out. Let's go to classification. Who's in 3A down at the Catholic League? Is there any at one time some of those teams? Who's the top team in 3A?
3A West Catholic.
That's who's going to win 3A, right? In the Catholic League.
The state final?
No, I'm asking you to give us your prediction. That wasn't clear. Give me your prediction from 3A up to 6A. West Catholic, are they going to win the Catholic League?
They'll represent District 12. Yeah, they'll win the District 12 championship.
Okay. How about 4A?
4A, I like that's where it was we had Devon Prep dominating. I think believe it or not, West Philly Public League team will represent. They'll win the District 12 championship at 4A. West
Philly's the 4A team to beat, but they're not Catholic.
Right.
Yeah, I'll see them tomorrow. I'll be announcing their game tomorrow at a tournament. Yeah, they're very athletic. Very athletic.
How about 5A?
It'll be. I got to go with Newman Goretti.
Okay, and 6A. Father Judge going to be able to kind of reel it in or grow.
They're getting it together, man.
Man.
Yeah. Father Judge.
Roman Catholic is the team to beat, right?
Well, Roman Catholic lost to Father Judge the other night. Yeah. So there you go.
What a finish, John! Did you see that? I had it on the Legalstown Gazette page.
Yeah.
John needs to get on your page and my page to scroll down.
He does. He sees that stuff.
He's probably busier than me.
I'm sorry. He's got a very demanding job, Dave. Believe me, and I mean that. I'm not joking around.
John, what do you do again?
Sales.
Well, I sell too. I'm working 45, 50 hours a week at Berman's Health Shop.
He does what I used to do.
What's that? Oh, food.
Yeah.
Selling food.
Yeah. Yep. Anything else, guys? Guy?
That's it.
Did we lose Dave?
Yeah, we're coming into the home stretch here. You know, a lot of important games, and then, you know, things are going to be decided here in the next week and second week here. So
Absolutely. So let's thank our sponsors once again. There they are. These are our Lingelstown Gazette Sports Platinum sponsors. We really appreciate it. For Dave Berman, John Velios, and Coatesville fourth-year head coach John Tootie Allen, I'm Joe Gilloway. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great evening. Go watch some football.